Okay, let's go over example 1, adding fractions using a common denominator. And again, this is part of chapter 1, section 6, extension, adding and subtracting fractions. Okay, so I have the steps over here in green, and the first one is, okay, let's look at the problem. The problem is to find 5/8 plus 1/6. Notice how there's two different denominators, the bottom number, for both of these fractions. Okay, so steps for adding fractions using a common denominator. So step 1 is we're going to multiply fractions by the other fraction's denominator. Okay, so I'm just going to rewrite down below here. So our first fraction is 5/8, and we're going to multiply both the numerator, the top number, and the denominator by the other fraction's denominator, which in this case is 6. Okay, plus, and then our other fraction is 1/6. And we're going to multiply 1/6 by 5/8 denominator, and 8 is in the denominator, the bottom number. And we're going to multiply the top and the bottom both by 8. Okay? So let's go ahead and solve our first one. 5 times 6 is 30. And 8 times 6 is 48. And again, we're adding. 1 times 8 is 8. Six times 8 is 48. So notice we now have the same denominator. We have a common denominator. And that is super important because if you go through this process and your denominators are not the same, something's incorrect. You did some multiplying incorrectly, or maybe you picked the wrong denominator or something. So double check your work if these are not the same number. And also, when we add and subtract fractions, the denominators have to be the same. Okay. So we did step 1. Step 2 says to add the numerators. Okay, and remember we know that the numerators are the top number. So 30 plus 8 is 38. Step 3 says the denominator stays the same. So we're not going to add the 48s together. Instead, the denominator stays 48. So you only add or subtract the numerator, the top number. And step 4 says to simplify. Okay, well, that's why I have up here that even numbers end in 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. So in other words, so we have a 2-digit number here, 38. If this second number in the ones place ends in 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8, I know I can divide that by 2. Let's say we have a single-digit number like 8. Well, it's only 8, so I know that that's also divisible by 2. There's only one number. But let's go over here to 38, and to simplify, we're going to divide both the top number and the bottom number by 2. And I know 48 is an even number because it also ends in 8. Okay, whoa. Let's do that again. To simplify, we have to divide the numerator and the denominator by the same number. We couldn't divide one of them by 2 and another one by 3. It doesn't work like that. You have to pick the same number. Okay, I know 38 divided by 2 is 19. And I know that 48 divided by 2 is 24. Okay, does 19 and 24 have any common factors? Remember, because that's how we pick how we can simplify number by, and they don't. So 19 24ths is our answer. Okay, let's go over another one. Find 1/3 plus 1/4. If you want, I encourage you to take a minute and pause the video and see if you can solve it on your own. But step 1 says to multiply fractions by the other fraction's denominator. Okay, so we have 1/3 And we're going to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 4. 4 is the other fraction's denominator. And again, we're adding. And our other fraction is 1/4. And we're going to multiply that by 3 because the first fraction's denominator is 3. All right, so let's go ahead and solve this first part here. 1 times 4 is 4. And 3 times 4 is 12. So we just found that 1/3 is equal to 4/12. They're equal fractions because we multiplied both the top number and the bottom number by the same number. Okay, sounds kind of silly. All right, let's go ahead and solve this one. So 1 times 3 is 3. And 4 times 3 is 12. Okay. Now let's go ahead and solve that. So we need to, step 2 says to add the numerators. 4 plus 3 is 7. And step 3 says the denominator stays the same. Oops. Step 4 says to simplify. Does 7 and 12 have any common factors? Nope, they don't, right? They're not an even number, so we can't divide it by 2 because 7 does not end in 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. 12 does, but that doesn't help. All right, that's it. Our answer is 7/12.